精彩呈现，观众朋友大家好，欢迎收看本期的欧洲大观，我是黄杰。今天的节目都有哪些精彩看点呢？爱沙尼亚海边的度假别墅，美味的辣味培根番茄面，登上沙皇黄金列车前往莫斯科。 西摩一家呢，每年都会在欧洲巡回表演《死亡之墙》，这是一个极其危险的游戏。摩托车骑士呢，需要驾驶摩托车在一个圆筒内完成一次反重力的骑行，时速呢常常高达80公里。除了需要对抗5倍于自身体重的离心力之外，还需要克服各种身体不适，为观众们做各种惊险的特技动作，稍有不慎便可能有生命危险。
As they race around the vertical track, they seem to be defying the law of gravity. Centrifugal force keeps them upright. The faster they go, the stronger it gets. Dave Seymour and his son Duke push right to the physical limits as they travel up to 80 kilometers per hour. The force is 5 times stronger than gravity. Anyone traveling faster than this would risk collapsing.
We make it look too easy, and it's not easy. If you're going too fast, the first thing you feel is the blood going to your legs, and then if you're going even faster than that, then you get white spots in your eyes. You get tunnel vision, and everything zooms in on you. It's not very good. And then if you go too slow, you slip off.
The Seymour family tours Europe with the Demon Drome every year. This time they're at the Goodwood Revival Show, a classic car festival in southern England. The Demon Drome was built in 1927 and went on sale in 2000. At first, Dave Seymour only wanted to buy US Indian brand motorbikes that were typically used for the War of Death, but he got the drone for free. Over time, he and his son have come to feel quite at home on the Wall of Death.
Natural. I've been doing it since I was 14, so like I can look at people and smile at people.
I think I was the only one with big eyes. Whoa! I've never seen it. I can't believe it. When I haven't seen it, I can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
It's dangerous, isn't it? They could die doing this. It's scary stuff. But luckily no one was hurt.
For the show's climax, Dave puts his daughter on the handlebars and bravely roars round with the extra weight.
I prefer doing it to watching it, actually. It's scarier watching my family do it than actually being up there.
Being confident with myself. It's worse for me seeing my son Duke riding up there and he's just thinking, come down now, that'll do, you know. And of course he's young, he just wants to do more and more.
Spectators throw in money after riskier moves. This is the accident fund and they need it. Insurance companies won't touch the Seymours with a barge pole. Dave and Duke have a variety of broken bones behind them.
The risk is it comes to bite you when you're least expecting it. So you could have a puncture, you know, the chain could come off, but I wouldn't do it if I feared it that much, you know. But obviously you have to respect it, but yeah, I enjoy it and that's why I do it.
And the Seymour family doesn't plan on giving up anytime soon. They're constantly expanding their repertoire. They even had to reinforce the wooden cylinder to accommodate their homemade race car.
We've sort of fine-tuned it over the years, you know. But there's still things we want to do and, you know, we're still evolving it.
The Demon Drome is almost 90 years old now, but Dave and Duke Seymour are still out there wowing crowds with their gravity-defying stunts.
爱沙尼亚 首都以东的海湾旁呢，有一栋极富当地特色的木质建筑。这座建筑呢，是由一位航海家在上世纪初建造的。经过一番精心的整修之后，这栋100年建筑呢，现在已经成为了当地一对夫妇的度假别墅。女主人是位歌手，常常面朝大海，坐在钢琴前边弹边唱。每到此时呢，她的创作灵感便源源不断，汹涌而来。
The Lahamaa National Park lies on the Gulf of Finland, about 70 kilometers east of the Estonian capital Tallinn. Amid the tracts of wilderness are historically protected villages, comprised of the wooden houses once typical of the region. In Natturi, right by the sea, is Kert Domingas and Ulla Marg's weekend getaway. A captain's house originally built in 1902.
Tere.
Tere tulemast.
Come on in, welcome.
The ground floor is a jumble of small rooms, with the living room as the centerpiece. The interiors are a hodgepodge of rustic and luxurious. The couple searched for 5 years before they found the right structure for a seaside escape.
It's a bless to find a place, and you really feel the place was looking for you too. Not only you were looking for a specific place, but you really hear or feel the place is calling for you to come here, we want you here.
Kert picked out the wallpaper patterns. They were all made in Finland.
I love gold and blue and white. These are really colors I feel connected to, and golden just lifts you up somehow, and there is something solemn in it, and maybe there is something solemn in me too.
She's a singer, and this is where she works on new songs.
So many songs just come to me when I play this piano and look to the sea, and it just, you open up and songs keep floating to you.
The dining room also serves as Ulla's office. When they have company, they put the 2 small tables together. The architect stripped a section of wall and had the doors restored, though not quite faithfully to the originals.
We clean the doors and leave them without paint. 100 years ago, everybody likes a paint, because paint was expensive, paint was like modern, and usually they paint it. So it's a little bit kind of tricky thing that today we like this kind of wooden part and we take off the paint.
The family bought the house in 2006 and spent 2 years overseeing extensive renovations before they moved in.
These kind of old buildings you have forever, you have work forever. It's a kind of living organism.
They completely remodeled the upper floor under the roof. The bathroom is up here. Downstairs is the children's room and another guest room. One of Ulla's favorite touches is a lamp that he made himself out of piano wire. The kitchen is next to the living room. Everything was modernized except for the old stove, which still serves its original purpose.
Actually, it's the first kitchen I really designed. Yeah, I like to cook for my friends and for visitors, because through food I can give something, I can pass something, and I can pass good health and good thoughts, and that means a lot to me.
The couple both work in Tallinn, where they have an apartment. Their weekend house in Natturi provides a welcome contrast.
It's so different how it's in summertime, in wintertime, in springtime. All the time things are different, and you feel kind of like you're flowing. Time is passing by here. When you are in the city, in the office sitting, then everything is same. So it's make your world bigger.
The house was built by seafarers, and it sits on 2.5 hectares of land. The couple come out here whenever they can, especially in summer, when they can sit outdoors and enjoy the sea view.
意大利城 城市法恩扎呢，已经有2000多年的历史了。这座城市啊，早在公元1世纪呢，便开始了生产陶器日用品。到了中世纪呢，这里的制陶业已经有了完善的行业标准。在瓷器传入意大利后，各种当地产的精美器皿遍布全城大大小小的瓷器店。如今呢，这里有40家制陶工厂，大约有1000名艺术家在从事陶瓷设计方面的工作。
The Italian city of Faenza was founded over 2,000 years ago. Its most beautiful square, Piazza del Popolo, boasts a large fountain, with palaces nearby. The town began producing porcelain for everyday use in the 1st century AD. By the Middle Ages, it was setting the industry standard.
Locals grow up with this craft. We take our first classes as kids in school.
Faenza is well known for its porcelain. It's a cultural and historical tradition.
Some 40 porcelain factories are based here, with about 1,000 artists working in the industry. This factory near Piazza del Popolo is famous for decorating porcelain. The artist's work is drawn from all historical eras, but typical Faenza themes are most common. Artist Paola Santoni also designs custom porcelain items.
There are many different themes. Clients can choose from a wide range of options, from the 3rd century to the present day.
There are porcelain boutiques on every corner of this Italian city. The owner of this shop specializes in old coats of arms from Faenza, but she also offers a number of very modern motifs.
I have a tactile approach to porcelain. I want to touch and feel it. You'd probably like to as well.
Anna Cristina's shop also has its own oven.
I do everything by hand, including the decoration. I only need this little oven for my work.
This wall is adorned with porcelain plates that feature symbols of different city districts. The city's oldest porcelain tiles can be found in the chapel of the Ferniani family residence. The tiles date back to the 7th century. Gino Gimignano has been operating a porcelain factory on the same street for many years. He knows the trade well.
When this earth is fired, it turns black. It's got to be fired at 1300 degrees Celsius.
Faenza's porcelain museum, located in a refurbished monastery, is dedicated to the diverse history of the industry, ranging from the 4th century to the present day. It displays porcelain from all regions and eras. These so-called white plates date back to the mid-15th century. At about the same time, the city's name became associated with this porcelain. And this valuable plate from 1555 documents the first use of cobalt blue pigment in this industry. By the 17th century, Faenza began producing entire porcelain sets.
Wealthy and successful people bought porcelain sets for use at parties. Suddenly, tea services emerged, and drinking coffee and hot chocolate became very popular.
Some 20th century porcelain artists even have their own museums in Faenza. Carlo Zauli, for example, created ultra-modern sculptures coated in gray-white enamel. Porcelain from Faenza is a feast for the eyes, and this small Italian city is keeping the tradition alive.
在伊茨贝格地区有一家专做奥地利菜的餐厅，但是现在这座餐厅的招牌菜却是一道意大利面。这道被称作辣味培根番茄面的招牌意面，采用了上好的意大利腌肉或者条纹培根，配上最新鲜的西红柿和洋葱调味，没有采用任何高档的烹饪方法，却十分受到当地食客的欢迎。
Berlin's Kreuzberg district is well known for its many cafes, restaurants, and bars. It's also one of the German capital's most ethnically mixed areas. Once a counterculture hotbed, it's now a magnet for hipsters from all over the world. Kreuzberg is also home to the restaurant Jollesch, which specializes in Austrian cuisine. The head chef is Tobias Janssen. Now the Italian classic spaghetti alla matriciana has been added to the menu. Jollesch is taking part in a campaign started by Italian blogger Paolo Campana. On a Facebook post on August 25th, he asked restaurants to serve the dish in a show of solidarity with earthquake victims in Amatrice, Italy. Star chefs like Jamie Oliver and over 700 restaurants around the world have answered the call. €2 are donated for every portion sold.
The campaign has met with a very good response. People like to eat spaghetti, and if they can do something good, it tastes all the better.
In the nearby Market Hall 9, Tobias Janssen collects the ingredients for the recipe. The most essential one is the pasta, from noodle makers Mani in Pasta. They make their organic spaghetti fresh every day. Pasta alla matriciana uses just a few ingredients, so it's important that they be the very best. The pasta comes from a special €50,000 machine and goes to restaurants and hotels throughout Berlin and the region.
Okay, ciao, dankeschön.
Next on the list, from a vegetable stand close by, are the onions, garlic, and tomatoes. It's important to Tobias Janssen that they be very aromatic and ripened on the vine.
The tomatoes are the basis for the sauce and, in fact, the entire dish. If the tomatoes don't taste good, the whole dish won't taste good. You have to make sure they're not green, that they're juicy and they smell good, like ripe tomatoes.
Back at Jollesch, Tobias Janssen first slices the bacon. The original Italian recipe calls for guanciale, but pancetta or another streaky bacon can be substituted for it. The bacon, garlic, onion, and tomatoes have to be finely diced. The tomato skins can be left on or removed according to taste.
If you cook the tomatoes whole, it takes too long, and you get a lot more taste with a larger surface area.
Pour olive oil in a pan and sauté the bacon, onions, and garlic until they're transparent. Then add the tomatoes. Then briefly turn up the heat, stirring the whole time until you get a creamy, somewhat thicker consistency. Season with salt and pepper to taste. Then place the fresh spaghetti noodles in boiling water for 3 or 4 minutes until they're al dente. Dry noodles take a few minutes longer. Finally, dress the plate. Sprinkle the dish with freshly grated pecorino cheese. And it's ready to serve.
I like this dish very much because it's easy and still delicious. It doesn't always have to be high-end cuisine. That's not what cooking's about. The emphasis should be on the natural simplicity of the ingredients.
For 1 year, patrons of Jollesch and other participating restaurants can order spaghetti alla matriciana for a good cause. So far, the restaurant Jollesch has raised about €200 to be sent to the Italian Red Cross and hopes there will be much more to come.
沙皇黄金列车从北京出发后，在穿越了辽阔的西伯利亚，终于到达了欧洲的第一站叶卡捷琳堡。 这列列车有很浓烈的前苏联风格的高大内饰，曾经呢只允许高级官员乘坐，如今来自欧洲各地的游客齐聚在这趟时光列车上，尽情地享受着俄罗斯民族的豪爽好客，一路欢声笑语直抵莫斯科。
Lenin watches over the people here in Yekaterinburg. The city is Russia's fourth largest. It's also near the birthplace of Boris Yeltsin. Passengers on the Tsar's Gold train celebrate their arrival in Europe. Yekaterinburg lies right on the border between Europe and Asia. They've already traveled 8,000 kilometers from Beijing via the Mongolian-Manchurian grassland, past Ulaanbaatar, Lake Baikal, Irkutsk, and Novosibirsk. Over 10 days and nights until they arrived here in Yekaterinburg. The train is plushly decorated in accordance with the tastes of the Soviet era, when only high-ranking party officials were allowed to travel on it. Petra and Axel Pott from Hamburg have already seen a lot on their journey, and they don't mind the modest accommodations.
I get used to the small bed. Even though I'm 1 meter 90 tall and can only sleep in one position, I don't mind. The train doesn't offer 4 or 5-star luxury, but it's comfortable enough. You shouldn't expect anything if you embark on a journey like this.
After 2 days, you're used to it, and you sleep well. You joke about it when you're headed down the hallway to the restaurant car, and the whole train sways, but it's fun.
There are lots of different nationalities on board the train.
This is my first trip by train, actually. I heard a lot about they call Trans-Siberian route. It's kind of a fulfillment of my dream.
But you'll hardly meet any Russians on board the Trans-Siberian Express.
Even though we traveled through Russia on most of the route, there are a few Russians on board. The Trans-Siberian Railway has a different meaning for them. It's called Siberia's lifeline, but more in the sense that it's simply a form of transportation.
The Trans-Siberian links Moscow and Vladivostok. It was constructed in the late 19th century to transport wood, ore, and other resources from industrially underdeveloped Siberia to the west. It was built bit by bit and completed 100 years ago. The route stretches over 8 different time zones. Often, tour guide Dietmar Ebert has to remind the passengers that they need to turn back their clocks.
I want to remind you that we will be passing through 2 time zones tonight, so please remember to turn back your clocks.
Traveling west on the Trans-Siberian train, passengers gain 6 hours, so ironically they're inevitably jet-lagged on board. But there's lots of time to enjoy the journey. Still, why travel all this distance by train instead of by plane?
You miss so much when you're on a plane, and you don't get to interact with the culture quite as much. The train seems the way we could be as close to the culture as possible, as close to the people in each place, and still see as much as possible.
This is Kazan, the capital of the Autonomous Republic of Tatarstan. For hundreds of years, Muslims, Christians, Jews, Tatars, and Russians have been living here peacefully, side by side, as the city's impressive architecture shows. In the afternoon, young students from the Kazan Music School play a surprise concert for the train passengers. The school is famous throughout Russia and has produced some world-class talents. High culture meets down-to-earth Russian food. The train's 3 restaurants serve a lot of fish, but also meat, potatoes, and vegetables. The atmosphere is very laid back.
It's great. You don't have to worry about anything. Everything is organized for you, and it all runs smoothly.
I think we'll take many beautiful memories with us, and we've met some great people. It was worth it.
The last leg of the journey is across central Russia. After 10,000 kilometers, the train reaches its final destination, Moscow.
诱人的颜色，无法抗拒的味道，这便是著名的黑森林蛋糕。起源于德国南部的黑森林蛋糕，融合了樱桃的酸、奶油的甜和樱桃酒的醇香，完美的口感经得起各种口味的挑剔。作为黑森林地区的特产之一，早已被人们带往全球各个角落。在融合了各地的特色之后，黑森林蛋糕也成为了一道十分经典的美食。
The unmistakable and irresistible colour and taste sensation that is the Black Forest Gâteau. The chocolate flakes are meant to evoke the deep, dark woods. And the cherries, the pom-poms on the Bollenhut, a traditional hat worn in only 3 villages in the area. In Treiberg, the famous cherry top cake is one of a range of attractions, including the world's largest cuckoo clock and beautiful scenery. Every year, around 400,000 tourists come to the tiny town, and many of them sample the local speciality, of course. This couple from Britain are impressed by the original version.
A lot of the Black Forest gâteaux that we have at home in England are there's one part of it that will be too much, like the fruity bit will be too sharp or too overpowering. This is lovely.
Traditionally, the cake is prepared with a generous shot of Kirschschnaps.
You can never have too much alcohol.
For some tourists, merely watching a Black Forest Gâteau in the making is a sight worth seeing. They come from around the world to witness confectioner Josef Schmetternyuk work his magic and hopefully reveal a couple of his secrets.
What do you need? Well, first the sponge cake. I've already made one. For this cake, we need 1.5 liters of stiffly whipped cream and a glass of stoneless sour cherries. Plus chocolate shavings as a garnish.
As Josef Schmetternyuk sometimes has customers who drink no alcohol, he bakes the cakes without the liqueur, even if he personally sees it as an essential ingredient. He can always sprinkle some over the cake later if so desired. Today, the cake is always associated with the Black Forest, although its true origins remain unclear. But for historian Claudia Homburg, the cake has its roots firmly in the Black Forest.
The Black Forest Gâteau became part of every visitor's itinerary. It was a time when the region was accessible to a growing section of German society. They would take a day trip to some little town in the Black Forest, which always included a cup of coffee and a slice of gâteau.
The gâteau is just as much a tradition and trademark of the region as the Bollenhut. Hat maker Gabriele Abeler is proud of the region's customs. There's no actual proof that the cherries on the gâteau were inspired by the pom-poms, but locals, including Gabriele, do enjoy the sweet treat.
It has a special status, just like the Bollenhut. It's not something you make every day. And just like the hat, it's an integral part of public festivals, although the hat is only worn in those specific villages.
While the gâteau has become a real globetrotter. Worldwide, there are countless varieties, everywhere from here in the former German colony Namibia to South Korea and the US. And back in Treiberg, some of the tourists from overseas are even surprised to discover they know a different taste.
I think that in Israel, it's more tasty. It's better.
These ladies come from Singapore, where the cake is also made to a different recipe.
The layers itself is already totally different without this the cherry. It's very nice.
But tasting the original makes any visit to the Black Forest worthwhile.
时尚欧洲精彩呈现，感谢您收看本期的欧洲大观，我是黄杰，下期同一时间我们再见。